In this lesson, you'll learn about how to install the rooftop components of the Enphase PV system. There are 10 steps to install the rooftop work of the PV system. Now we'll cover each of these tasks. The first step is to mark the microinverter positions along the installed rails across the roof. Measure the approximate centres of each of the PV modules. Now once you have that measurement, you'll use that to mark on the rails where the microinverters will be mounted. As you mount the micros along the rails, remember to attach the DC bulkhead connector to the microinverter. You'll see that the connector has a keyway that is off-centre, so there is only one way to plug it in. Make sure the connector is fully seated and listen for the click. That'll tell you that the connector is securely attached. Mount the microinverter bracket side up as shown and under the PV module away from the rain and the sun. Allow a minimum clearance of 19mm between the roof and the microinverter. Also allow 13mm between the back of the PV module and the top of the microinverter. With the microinverters now mounted to the rails, with each position finalised, creating the paper array map will be a snap. Each inverter comes with a serial number sticker attached to it. You will use these stickers to create an array map of where each inverter is located throughout the array. Enphase provides this paper template for you to create the array map if you choose to use this. Or you can choose a more rustic approach and use a scrap piece of cardboard. If you want to get really fancy, get an additional copy of the engineering drawings and put the microinverter stickers directly on the drawing itself. The key takeaway here is that the map should be complete and accurate. Next, you want to prepare for the AC wiring coming off the roof. You'll connect the microinverter circuit AC wiring, such as TPS or orange circ, into the correctly rated AC weatherproof isolator at the solar array. Now throughout the installation and between the arrays, you may also be using weatherproof junction boxes to complete wiring connections within your circuits. When you manage your Q cable, you'll want to be sure that the cable has no contact with the roof and that the cable has proper bend radius. While the Q cable is UV rated, you'll want to minimize the cable's exposure to sunlight. Attaching the cable to the rail or solar panels can be done using Enphase cable clips, cable ties or other products. Be sure that the cable management solutions are weather and UV resistant products that will keep the cabling secure off the roof and secure for the life of the PV installation. As you're managing the Q cable, don't pull the Q cable tight against the strain relief of the AC connector of the microinverter. As shown in this example, the inverter on the left, over time this could damage the connector and require a service call back to the installation. Have a look at the inverter and Q cable on the right. They have proper bend radius. Notice how that the rail supports the cabling. Next, you'll need to attach the drops of the Q cable to the AC output connections on each of the microinverters. This cable snaps right into the inverter. Make sure that the connector is fully seated. Give the connector a tug test to verify that the locking mechanism is secure. Now do this for all of the microinverters in the array and make sure that the cable has been managed appropriately. Once you have the inverters mounted, the Q cable connected to the inverters and managed, it is time to head to the end of the PV branch circuit and terminate it using the Q terminator cap. Here is a video on how to use the terminator cap.
Using the terminator loop to measure, remove 13 millimeters of the cable sheath from the conductors. Slide the hex nut onto the cable. Insert the cable into the terminator body so that each of the two wires land on opposite sides of the internal separator. The grommet inside the terminator body should remain in place. Verify that the opening of the grommet is aligned with the flat of the cable, so that when inserting the wires they are split by the internal separator. Make sure that the hex nut is fully tightened. Hold the terminator body stationary with a screwdriver and turn only the hex nut to prevent the conductors from twisting out of the separator. Be sure to only tighten the hex nut. Rotating the terminator body could cause the conductors to back out past the internal separator. Warning: never unscrew the hex nut. Unscrewing the hex nut destroys the locking feature and you must replace the terminator. Manage the terminator cable end to the PV racking with a cable clip or tie wrap so that the cable and the terminator do not touch the roof.
Now that the unused branch circuit ends are terminated, now it's time to go to the other end of the circuit and make the connections to the AC wiring down off the roof. You'll want to use a cable gland to capture the Q cable. A multi-cable grommet in the cable gland also allows the earth conductor for your PV array frame earthing to enter the AC isolator in a single gland. When you are completing your AC connections into any of the AC isolators or any junction boxes, ensure that you follow the correct color code wiring for your one-phase or three-phase cable installations. In single phase, active is brown, neutral is blue. For three-phase Q wiring, phase conductors are brown, black and grey, and blue is the neutral conductor. The Q cable AC branch circuit has been completed. Now it's time to connect the solar panels to the microinverters. This is a great time to go and check and make sure that you've pulled the microinverter serial number stickers and have completed your array map before the panels are covering the microinverter serial numbers. Now once your DC leads for solar panels are connected to the microinverters, the inverters will power on and you'll see the LED on the microinverter start to flash. Now that the roof work is completed, you can complete the remaining part of your installation of your solar subboard and your AC wiring in the house.